everybody. Welcome to the Magic Noteboard. Today we're going to talk about a man named Saul and what happened to him when he met Jesus. You see, it all started on a very sunny day. It was so sunny that the birds were out singing. And Saul, he wasn't Paul yet. He was out doing what Saul always does. Doesn't he look happy? He's out saying, "Hi, I'm Saul. I'm quite a guy. I'm pretty popular. And you know what? I persecute Christians. It's what I do, and I'm good at it." Then, you know what happened? Some Christians actually showed up. You could tell they were Christians because they had WWJD t-shirts on. Saul said, "Whoa, wait a minute. Are those Christians over there? You know what I do to Christians, don't you? I throw rocks at them." Whee! Big rock. It's gonna hit him in the head, and that's gonna hurt. Well, everybody, it must be the next day. You know how I know it's the next day? 'Cause there's a sign, and it says the next day. Well, Saul sure was happy with himself. He was getting promoted at work, getting raises, and he said to himself, "I must be the most amazing Christian persecuting guy ever." But then something happened. He was on the road to Damascus, and he was going to persecute some more Christians. But then there was thunder. And there was lightning. And Saul said, "What's that giant flashing light in the sky?" And everything went dark. And he fell over. And when he fell over, you know what happened? He said, "Ah, I'm blind. I can't see anything." Then something even more amazing happened. You see, Saul went, "Who's that talking to me?" And all the people that he was traveling with, he went, "Shh, be very quiet. I hear someone."
Hello?
And you know who was talking to him? It was Jesus. And Jesus said to him, "Saul, you've got to stop persecuting all those Christians."
Hello?
And Saul said, "Well, that's funny, because I thought I was doing what I was supposed to be doing." And then he paused again, and he went, "Jesus, really? You mean I was persecuting your children? Well, I'm sorry. How about if you give me my sight back, and I won't do it anymore?" Jesus said to Saul, "First, I want you to go to Damascus. And I want you to stay there for 3 days. And I don't want you to eat anything at all." And so Saul got up and he went with his friends because he couldn't see anything. He needed somebody to lead him. And he walked, and he walked, and he walked, and he walked. Well, here we are in Damascus. And Paul, because he's met Jesus now and asked for forgiveness, he figured out who Jesus was because Jesus was speaking to him and telling him about his death and his resurrection. But he was still blind, and he was laying on his bed. And then there was a knock at the door. Knock, knock, knock. And you know who it was? It was a guy named Ananias. He was a Christian too. You know how you can tell? WWJD shirt. Well, Paul, he got up and he went to the door. And while he was there at the door, Ananias was a little bit scared. But Paul opened the door and he said, "Hey there, you're a Christian because you're wearing a WWJD shirt, aren't you?" And Ananias said, "Yes, I am. But please don't throw any rocks at me. I have a really big head and it would really hurt." And Paul said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to throw rocks at you anymore. I've met Jesus. My name is Paul now." Well, Ananias was very excited. He said, "You know what? That's great news because now I can pray for you that you get your sight back." And Paul went, "That's amazing." And so Ananias prayed for Paul. And you know what happened? This giant pile of stinky stuff fell right off of Paul's eyes. You can tell it's stinky because there's flies all around it. And all of a sudden, Paul could see again. And Ananias and Paul, you know what they did? They had a little party and they danced. Well, Ananias and Paul hung out a lot. And Jesus spoke to Paul a lot. And he understood more and more that it was all about Jesus and what he had done for him. And Paul set out to talk to Jews and Gentiles all over the place and tell them about Jesus. As a matter of fact, you know what Paul said to Ananias? He said, "You know, I feel really bad about bullying people by throwing rocks at them and stuff. And you know what? I'm going to go out and tell people all about Jesus. As a matter of fact, I should do something to let everybody know." So you know what he did? He did a public service announcement. See, he went and he told everybody who Jesus is. That Jesus is the only way. And that you shouldn't add anything to the gospel. And he said on his commercial, "Hello, I'm Paul. I've met Jesus. And I don't throw rocks at Christians anymore. Because Jesus has saved me." And he went on to write almost 2/3 of the New Testament. And that's the story from the magic felt board of how Saul became Paul.